All right, I'm here with Coach Shaynah from Adams Swimming in North Carolina, which, by the way, congratulations on your bronze medal status for your club. Absolutely
Thank you.
amazing. Huge
Thank you.
accomplishment. Top 2-3% in the country now. I think that puts you all, which is incredible. Some amazing things have happened since the last time that we got to speak here on the podcast, and really cool things that you're doing day to day, coaching wise. And I'm excited for people to hear more about that and dig into that. Podcast, where we aim to highlight inspiring people doing amazing things in the Swim Strong family and in the greater swim community. But before we do that, we have round 2 of our rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. First question. Song at the top of your playlist right now, or artist?
Yeah, I don't have one song on repeat right now, but I saw Post Malone like a month ago, and so he's on the top of my listeners artists right now for sure.
That's awesome. What's the last book that you read that was impactful?
I love to read. I just finished the book last night. It was honestly just a rom-com-y kind of book, but it was actually really well done. It was about a girl who had dealt with some family trauma around ALS, which I don't know much about, but really was advocating for mental health care and self-care and that kind of stuff, which, as we've discussed before, I feel is really important. So I thought it was a good way to
cool.
Address that. Yeah.
So next question is a this or that: pizza or burger?
A burger.
Burger. Okay. Do you have a go-to dance move if you go to like a wedding or something?
No, I don't.
No dance move? Oh, I thought there might be a signature Shaynah.
I don't have like a signature move. I do love to dance at a wedding though, but no signature move.
All right, we got to get one. We got to get a signature Shaynah move. I thought there might be
I'll work on that. All
right. If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why?
Oh, Coach, I was broccoli yesterday for Halloween, so I guess I would be broccoli. Yeah,
That's right. That's perfect. Yeah. Favorite shoe brand?
Oh, okay. So, like, in terms of just really cool shoes to wear, I love Nikes. Like, I love a pair of Dunks or a pair of Jordans.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of comfort on the pool deck, it's going to be Adidas or On Cloud.
All right. So you got your function and then you got the style. You got both covered there. I love it.
I am a sneaker head, so it's a real problem, actually.
I love it. I love it. Well, fantastic job with the rapid fire questions second time around. And Shaynah, thanks again for being on here. There's been some really cool things that you've been doing. Obviously, your team's seen some great success. You guys have an amazing coaching staff, amazing group of kids, an incredible community team as a whole. I know that a lot goes into the success of a team. Something that I'm particularly interested in and have thought was inspiring is you started actually filming kind of day-to-day life as a coach on deck, and none of it's dressed up. None of it is, like edited or anything like that. And I have like been captivated by it. Love following it. Love seeing it. I'm wondering if you could just share a bit about that, what brought on that idea, what inspired that, and a little bit of what you're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah. So, they say like imitation is the sincerest form of flattery or whatever. So actually it happened upon a female volleyball coach out in the Bay Area who does something similar. Now hers is much cleaner than mine is. Like she has a lot more staff and like people to actually like put her stuff together. But I really liked, she coaches all boys, like 17 and 18-year-old boys. And I thought she was doing something really cool, showcasing what it's like as a female coach working with male athletes in a relatively male dominated field, and just kind of putting it all out there and being really honest with it. But then the second part, I spent a lot of time actually thinking about whether or not I wanted to do this. I asked a lot of friends and colleagues and, that sort of thing. 'Cause I, didn't want it to be like, like your ego can get really wrapped up in something like that sometimes.
Sure.
And I didn't want it to be just about me. Because the other part of it too, the motivating factor behind it was, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, there's like two of the biggest clubs in the country are literally in our backyard.
Yeah.
So it's a tough market, right? And we're
Mhm.
150 swimmers this season. We were 130 last season. So I'm trying to differentiate us from the other clubs in the area. And I didn't want it to be me videoing myself and then putting it on our team Instagram page. And then all of a sudden our team Instagram just became about me and the practice groups that I coach.
Mhm.
I still want that to be really about our entire team because
Yeah.
I want, everybody on the team is valuable. So I don't ever want to lose sight of that.
Yeah.
So I decided to create my own account and put it out there and just kind of show what we're doing on a daily basis. I have plenty of respect for the other teams in our area, but I also think that we're doing something different than what
Mm.
they're doing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find some ways to showcase that. So,
That's
and I
cool.
think one of the things we do better than anybody else is build relationships with kids.
Mhm.
And so if nothing else, I wanted to show that, we can talk all day long about how kids don't get lost in the shuffle on our team and all that kind of stuff, but like to actually show it in action on a daily basis, or
Yeah.
like whether it's us being silly on the pool deck and like, you know, whatever, or it's me being like, I see exactly what you're doing and it's not what you're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
or or coaching a kid up and saying like, this looks amazing, like how do we keep building on this? So
Yeah.
and just a little bit more of what our culture is. We like to have fun, we like to have a good time, we work hard, but we like
Mhm.
to have a good time,
Yeah.
so I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. So those, I was trying to highlight kind of all of those components of what makes our team different from
That's
potentially other
cool.
teams
That makes
in the
sense.
area.
It's very
Yeah.
cool. I feel like there's a lot of the clips, there's like a lot of opportunities where you and your staff are motivational and like teaching moments. A lot of it is like just in the middle of a set, and some of it is just like fun and goofy. And I remember seeing one recently where it was like you were talking and nobody was listening, and you're like, nobody's paying attention to me. And you posted that, and I was like, who's out here posting about when nobody's paying attention to him? It's just like so real and genuine. As like, how many times does that happen as a coach? And nobody's and so I just think it's so clever and so creative and so insightful to like, this is what's actually happening in life of a coach and what we
Yeah.
deal with. But also like, this is it just gives a real life picture of what's happening. And I'm wondering, like, doing that, what has it taught you now that, because it probably changes the way you think too, right? Because you're on video now, like, oh wow, I didn't maybe is there something you realize now that you didn't realize before doing this, something that has taught you?
So I don't think I've changed much of what I do, to be honest. Like I always wanted it to be really real.
Mm-hmm.
So there are definitely moments where like I'll prop my camera up because I know that I have something to say to the
Mm-hmm.
group and I think it needs to be heard by more than just them.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I mean, I literally just prop my camera up at practice, put on a Bluetooth mic, and see what I can get out of. Like some days, I'll prop it up, and I'm like, well, there's not really anything worthwhile here today. Like it was just, we swam a lot today. So I don't think I've changed anything. One of the things I actually have noticed is that when because I'll go back through and like kind of mark different timestamps or whatever on stuff, but I have actually caught some things like with the kids in the water rewatching the workouts,
Mm.
because I usually get at least a portion of the pool in there, and so I don't catch everything, but I noticed I had a girl and I never saw it while I was standing on the pool deck, but whatever the camera angle was, every time she pushed off the wall she did like 3 flutter kicks before she went into dolphin kicks, and I would have never picked that up. So I showed it to her a couple days later at practice. I was like, hey, did you know that you did this? And she was like, no. And I was like, neither did I, but here we are, like we have it on video. So catching some of that
That's
kind of
cool.
stuff. Or like I posted a 10 and under clip the other day where like they always ask me what time it is and how much longer we have in practice, which is like
I saw that one.
my pet peeve. No, like I'm not answering that question anymore. But then I watched it and this one little girl was just like flipping the whole time. Like she was just doing flips in the pool. And I'm like, she didn't listen to a word that I said. So like you catch some of that kind of stuff too that you wouldn't before. But I mean, I'm trying to be as real as possible with it. So I don't think I've really changed much in terms of how I coach a practice. And I don't mic myself up every day. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't have the energy just to know that there's a microphone on my collar right now. Like I just need to move through the practice and not even, be distracted by that. So it can be a little bit distracting at times, and sometimes it's distracting for the kids. And so there are some days where I'm like, I'm not even going to do this because I need them like really dialed in. Yeah.
It's interesting because sometimes I feel like it can promote like focus and people enjoy that and knowing that like there's something fun being recorded and captured from practice and moments in practice. And then like you said, sometimes it's like, okay, I know today's not the day that I'm going to do this, but I really appreciate the genuine nature of it. And something that I've definitely noticed in the videos too is there's just a lot of teaching opportunities. I think this is something unique that this might not happen at a lot of clubs. I don't think it does. It's just like constant teaching moments that you take advantage of. And we only get to see a small snippet, right, on the Instagram, which is at Coach Shaynah, right?
Yes.
So if you guys want to follow at Coach Shaynah. We hope you're enjoying this week's podcast. We want to take a quick break to shout out our sponsors. Attention all high school and club swimmers and divers. Are you ready to take your talents to the next level and dive into the collegiate scene? Look no further than ACC Recruiting, your premier destination for college swimming and diving recruitment education. At ACC Recruiting, we specialize in connecting student athletes with the perfect collegiate programs that match their skills and academic aspirations. Our experienced team will guide you through the recruitment process, providing personalized support every stroke of the way. Don't let your dreams sink. Visit ACC Recruiting today and make a splash in your future. Dive into success with ACC Recruiting, where champions are born. Visit our website now or call us at 314-518-8844. That's 314-518-8844. ACC Recruiting, your gateway to collegiate swimming and diving excellence. Resistance bands are a must-have for dry land. Elite Athlete Power Band kits are designed to give you a cost-effective way to improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. These high-quality kits last longer and are versatile enough to provide total body workouts anywhere, anytime. The levels of resistance are ideal for progressing youth athletes without weight increases that are too large. Go to the link provided on the SwimStrong Dryland website, click on the Training tab, and search Equipment Suggestion Lists, and get your Elite Athlete resistance bands today. You take advantage of so many moments to stop and whether it be educate or motivate or inspire or get to the root of different things. And you talk about team culture being important. I think a lot of people know it's important and it contributes to strong team performance. A happy team, a cohesive team is a team that's going to perform at a high level. I can guarantee you that. And it's going to be more fun to be a part of. And you guys do a fantastic job of that. We see a little bit of it. You actually talked to me offline about additional things that you guys are doing in terms of leadership and how you guys are getting your team together in a lot of ways. That it takes a lot of effort to like build culture and to see significant change. If you're willing, maybe share just like some of the things that you guys are doing that's not all on camera. That's like, those are a snippet, but you guys, it just show a little bit of a window into how much you guys at work you actually do to build the culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this last time, like you can't ever assume that people know what the culture is. And even after you've educated them, like it always has to be at the forefront of what you're doing, because the minute you think that people get it, they've forgotten, right? Like it's just human nature. It's just what it is. So our responsibility, I talk to our coaching staff all the time, like our responsibility is to be a constant example and a constant reminder of what our culture and what our values are. So, I mean, we have core values that we do not stray from. They are the foundation of everything that we do. But we took that and we did something different this year. It most of the time when we have ideas, it's a lot of things that get us to a particular point. we were thinking about retention. We were thinking about how to get younger athletes involved in the sport in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, but also how to get our older athletes involved with our younger athletes. For years, we've been like, we need a mentor program. And like, it is tedious and it never gets off the ground, no matter how many times we've tried. So we scrapped that. We have 4 core values. We split our teams up into 4 houses, Harry Potter style, based on the 4 core values. We just did it based on everybody's 50 free time, which whatever. And then we picked like about 5 captains, 14 and older, for each team. And we're running an inter squad meet series. All the meets are still sanctioned, so the times count. So for our younger kids, it's like in and out. It's really easy. It's just like going to a soccer game or a basketball game. For our older kids, it's an opportunity to interact with the younger swimmers. We did like a whole kickoff party. They came up with a team cheer for their team. They did posters. They did all this stuff. So they got to meet each other before we did our first meet. And then like, for me, like the icing on the cake, I have a friend who is an artist and she's incredible. And so I went to her and she's a 3D printer. And I was like, can you make me like a custom WWE style belt? And she was like, I've never wanted to do anything more in my entire life. So we have our core values spell out the word fire. So we have this really cool fire logo that my sister-in-law designed for me. And I pull people in all the time, like, you know how to do this? Great, because I don't, So she designed this awesome logo. So my friend Liz put the logo front and center on the belt, and then it's got these 4 medallions on each, or 2 on each side with the core values on there. So like we have this belt that like we're going to bring out for all of our house meets. The champion is going to championship team will take home the belt at the end of the season. I think I'm going to do t-shirts too, because I think that would be pretty cool.
I love it.
I had that idea just recently. But yeah, so I mean, that's some of the stuff that we're doing. We're always trying to look back at like what worked well previous seasons and just how do we make it better every time? How do we make it better? How do we do it better this time than we did the last time? So yeah.
It's pretty incredible. I think club swimming too, with such a wide variety of age groups and just people who go to different schools a lot of times and don't, in college you like room with people and see each other every day and you live with them. In high school, high school swimming gives you a little sense of team camaraderie. Club swimming though, you can get it, but it takes a lot of effort, like a lot of work to develop something. And I love the idea for houses and like intra squad meets and competitions. And like, you just get that kind of the why people love college swimming so much is like the atmosphere, the family atmosphere, you have like team pride, you have like, you go through things with people. And I feel like you're creating that within the club, within your team. And it's based on your core values, and you're giving people leadership opportunities as well to lead their teams. And I think it's pretty brilliant. I mean, people should steal that idea. I mean, people should really do that because club swimming needs to be more fun and it needs to be more connected.
It does. And like like I said, we work really hard. All of our groups do. And even the younger ones appropriately work really hard, but like you can still make it fun and exciting. And like, getting high schoolers sometimes to buy into some of that kind of stuff. Like I don't guilt trip them, but I'm like, listen, I need your help. I can't do this by myself. Like you've got to get in the mix, like, and it's important, like, regardless of whether or not I need your help, like think about when somebody invested in you when you were little and how much that meant, whether it was like you met Ryan Lochte when he was in town for ultra swim or, some older swimmer happened to cheer for your race one time. Like it mattered a lot. So, do give it back. But a lot of the older kids, when we finished that weekend, because we did a huge kickoff party the night before, inter squad meet Saturday morning, they were like, that was really cool and like a lot of fun. Like they really enjoyed it. And so we just did a trunk or treat last weekend and had all the high school kids decorate their cars, and the little kids came through in their costumes.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I need y'all's help again. They're like, no, like we loved doing it for the kids last time. Like we'll do it again. I was like, okay, great. I didn't have to like convince them this time around, they were ready to go and happy to do it. So
that's great.
It takes work. I've I have a really good relationship with the high school kids on our team. And so I do think that makes a huge difference too, right? So like if coach needs us to do this and she thinks it's important, then it's important.
Yeah.
But that takes time to build those relationships too.
Yeah.
So.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal, and the impact of that is so significant for the athlete experience, how they grow as a person, and then obviously results-wise. Like when your team is connected, you're just going to see a lot more when you're bought into what's happening, and you're enjoying the people that you're around and looking out for each other. You're just going to get better results. You are. And speaking of results too, I know that's something you guys are very serious about as well. Like you want to have fun, you want to have an amazing team culture, you want everybody to feel cared for and to just have the time of their lives while they're part of your program. But also, I know you guys as a coaching staff are super dedicated on trying to be the best you can be technically, and it's no mistake, seeing the success that you've seen, that you guys are constantly developing yourselves, the coaches within your staff. I'm wondering, how do you guys, a lot of people talk about like consistently educating themselves, trying to get better, learning as coaches, but what are things that you do as a staff that help you grow as coaches to help the kids from a technical perspective and just to be better coaches yourselves?
I mean, so I will say, like, shout out to you guys, like some of the stuff that you've done recently, or I mean, not just recently, but the Swim Strong education, those webinars have been great. I know like Pierce is our 13-14 coach, and then he coaches our senior 2 group. He hopped on that call last week and it was really helpful for him. I think sometimes like same way that the kids, like we say the same thing over and over to them, and at some point they're like whatever, and he's never been like that, but maybe it just doesn't resonate in the same kind of way, right? So he got off that call and he's like, oh, I see how when we were talking about this, it connects to like this conversation here on this webinar, this podcast, whatever it was, helped make the connection to what we've been working on and trying to work towards in his practice groups, something along those lines. So taking advantage of those simple opportunities, but we also collaborate a lot as a coaching staff as well. So, and that's not just within age groups and practice groups, right? Like Stephanie is our head age group coach. She has our top 11 and 12-year-olds and our top 10 and unders. But those kids move right to Pierce, right? So there has to be an ongoing dialogue between the two of them. It's not just like, oh, they're 13 and over swimmers now, so what they did in 12 and under doesn't matter anymore, right? We can constantly be learning from one another. And just sometimes seeing what somebody else is doing in a workout can like kind of get your brain going, right? So that's another thing that we do. And then I think we talked about this last time, is just not being afraid to ask other people questions, right? Like, so where was I? I can't remember. I was somewhere. Oh, I was out in Colorado. No, I was out in Denver for the annual business meeting for USA Swimming, and I was writing workouts while my kids were back at home. And I was sitting across the table from Jamie Bloom, and I'm like, Jamie, like, take a look at this IM set. Like, it was a massive set. It was too big. And I was like, what do you think is like 4,000 yards IM, like the 4th week of practice, a little bit too much? And she was like, yeah, it is. I was like, okay. But it doesn't always have to be someone that you're in constant contact with. It can also just be like, okay, have this opportunity to talk through something with somebody. So I mean, and then I'll be out at National Select Camp in January, and I'm like super amped to like learn in that environment too, from some of the best, and just get some new ideas and all that kind of stuff. So
well, you are one of the best, by the way. So I think people will be excited to learn from you too. But I think that's the mindset that does make someone great in the sport, is just continuing to be open-minded, always wanting to learn, being humble, being hungry, trying to be the best you can be. You said it earlier, just every year we don't want to be the same. We want to be better for our kids. We want to see what can we do to improve this year after year, and that includes yourself, like growing as a coach and as a coaching staff. And something that's I've always appreciated, and that's always struck me, is on our meetings when we meet every month, just a very cerebral staff, like asking questions, how things translate from dry land to the water, how different age groupers are progressing through the program. Like, I think if I could put one word on it, just from seeing like my end from you guys implementing the dry land, it's just engagement, like constant engagement of trying to maximize our program, but then also trying to maximize what you guys are doing in the water. And I think anybody who's engaged and trying to learn and trying to grow and better themselves and is humble, I feel like there's not really a limit that of what you are capable of. And so I don't know if that's one of the like core values that you as a coaching staff have, but it's something that is obvious, and it is something that you guys value significantly, just even from just being around you. And so is that something that you guys talk about a lot, or is it just something that you kind of just ended up with a bunch of staff who are that type of people?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's something that we specifically talk about. I think it's I mean, I will, Stephanie is always a thinker. Like that's just how she is by nature. So
Mm-hmm.
she is always going to think through stuff at every possible angle. I am I'll cross that bridge when I get to it kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So we balance each other out really well in that way. And not in the sense that like I'm not going to be thinking through it, but sometimes it's like that's not today's problem. I got to
Mm-hmm.
solve today's problem first.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's always reminding me that it's about to be. I
Yep.
said to my kids, I said to my swimmers recently, I was like, today's mistakes become tomorrow's problems. And they were like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, you didn't warm down yesterday after the meet. And now we're in practice on
Mm.
Monday and your legs are like at 5 boys, their legs were just cramping up. And I'm like, what is the problem? Did you warm down? No. I'm like, oh, yesterday's the mistakes become today's problems.
It's a good one.
But I wish I was recording for that one. I was like, dang it, that would have been such a good soundbite, but I wasn't mic'd up that day. But no, it's not something that I think we necessarily talk about. But I do think it goes back to one of our core values is intensity, and so we talk about intensity in terms of the way we approach the work that we do, whether that's for the athletes in the water with purpose and intensity, and we value hard work, or whether for that's our coaching staff on deck, right? Like we're gonna approach everything we do with purpose and intensity.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're in a tough market, and so I feel like we have a lot of little sayings that have gone around over the years. But what recently, I told our staff, I was like, we coach the crap out of the kids that we have. We make the best out of, we squeeze every last drop out of what we've got. And I'm proud of us for that.
Heck yeah. It's
We
awesome.
get overlooked sometimes, and but I'm willing to take any kid and figure out how to make them the best that they can possibly be.
Awesome. So awesome. I love it. And I love it when smaller teams are doing things that even a lot of bigger teams aren't. And it just shows like it's about quality. Like you guys are all about quality, and you're going to get the most out of every athlete that comes your way. Not only in terms of their athletic potential, but their joy in the sport and their growth as people. And I just see that year after year after year with Adam swimmers, and the experience, everybody loves it. Like everyone who comes through Adams, like they love it. And so it's a really, really amazing thing that y'all have built. And it's only continuing to get better year by year. And so I do want to encourage everybody to follow Coach Shaynah's account, because I think it's very real. It's very raw. I think it's also vulnerable too, because people are afraid to like not have something that's super dressed up and put it out there publicly. Usually what we put out there is like really edited and the best like looking product we can put, and which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
My camera's tilted and like,
and like it's just like this is life of coaching, and like there's so many things I think that people can learn from you, and I know you're always trying to learn from other people, but I think there's a lot of things that people can learn from you as well, and will, if they're humble enough to follow and to ask questions and to do a lot of the things that have brought you to where you are. So I am super appreciative of you taking the time to be on here. I know this will be impactful and continue what you're doing to be impactful for the swimming world. So I really appreciate everything you do for us and for the swimming world, and for all the kids that are under your care. It's amazing. It's a blessing to get to witness it. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be back on. I always just love like talking with you. So it's
awesome.
A lot of fun, and you have a lot of great insight as well. So
thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch a new episode each Monday. You can also check us out on social media at SwimStrong Dryland. If you would like to join the SwimStrong family, visit our website at swimstrongdryland.com.